Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. In this video, we're going to look at the round 12 review of SuperCoach NRL for the 2024 season. And so what could have been a bit of a disastrous week worked out okay, probably given it was the same sort of disaster for about half the competition. So 1236 is actually an okay score this week, good enough to actually lift us up about 500 spots in the overall rank, inside the top 10k, and probably, I suppose, the second time, or for the first time this season, I should say, that we've spent multiple weeks inside the top 10k in a row. So we'll take that. That's a win, and hopefully keep pushing forward this week with the, I guess, the first sort of big buy round for the season, that we've been pretty well prepared for, and we'll see how we shape up. So Harry Grant was our hooker this week and scored us a 57, which is a fair score. I guess particularly compared to Joey Lussick's 22. Like, I don't know what to do with Lussick this week. Do we stick or do we twist? Not too sure. Payne Haas with 100. Nice round 100 is always nice to see. But obviously wasn't going to be available this week, even if he wasn't on the bye. Josh Curran with a 61, just continues to work massive minutes in the middle for the Dogs, on the edge a bit when they need him to. But he's just super consistent, super handy to have over the next 6 weeks. Sam Hughes with a 31, he's just sort of doing a bit at the start, and then, that's most of his job done. But we know he can score a try. Bulldogs have great bye coverage, as we've said all along, so he's fine. Liam Henry getting a try, and 74 is a great return. So glad we held, and he'll get, even more sort of responsibility this week, given the likes of Isaiah Yeo. I think Liam Martin's probably missing too, that sort of thing. Angus Crichton, so I guess off the back of his form, has got picked for New South Wales, so it doesn't help us this week. Probably only plays one of the next 4, so it could be one we trade off. If you haven't got Fafita, you could probably, do that at some point over the next 2 weeks, nice and easy, given that he's been overlooked. Kick out with 47, again, bye coverage probably saves him. Smithies with a 29 is what it is. He'll play this week. He can maybe move on week 14. Fafita, as we said, has been brushed, so it doesn't play this week, but is the number 1 trading target next week, given he'll cover round 16 and round 19 and even round 20, which could be a bit tricky after the third origin. Nikora with 52, without a try, that's probably about as good as we're going to expect from him. And Kai Pearce-Paul, obviously on the bye, but be interesting to see how he goes. We were sort of banking on maybe Tyson Frizzell getting a call-up, but the New South Wales team has gone a bit Generation Next. We do have the team list here, so they've got Martin and Crichton on the edges, but then they've also got Olakau'atu and Young both on the bench. So, you'd sort of imagine they would come in and maybe Martin or Crichton, or potentially even both, move a bit more into the middle, given they've probably played that role a little bit more than these guys. So it's a pretty interesting bench. Isaiah Yeo on the bench. I understand, McInnes can play big minutes and do a job in the middle, but interesting they've gone with Yeo on the bench. Len Yu as that impact front rower, big body, okay, that's cool. They've got Haas and Jackie Travojevic, who I think is actually a pretty good choice for captain. Sort of a real lead by action sort of bloke rather than, the big talker potentially, but it'll be interesting to see how that team goes. So under the halves, Nico Hines, obviously going down with the calf tightness. I don't think it would stop him from playing Origin though, so we weren't going to get him either way. Based on that, you would have thought, but that's fine. Like I said, it affects half the competition, so it's not the end of the world. Dylan Brown with a 66 is going to be really vital for us this week. Particularly given Matt Burton with an 81 last week is named 18th man. So I think they've said the 18th men aren't released. It's the 19th and 20th. So Kiri, Mitch Barnett, but Barnett's on the bye, so he'll probably just hang around in camp. But Keary, even Luke Keary, there we go, will get back in for the Roosters this weekend. So a bit flat for us Burton owners, a bit flat as a Dogs fan, but I think it's well deserved. He's playing well. He does offer that sort of coverage. Halves, centre is big enough. He could potentially play in the middle if he had to. Um, but and like the wicked bombs. Not that he's used a lot of them this year, but sure he's still got them in the back pocket. Lockie Galvin with a 90, so great result from him for bottom dollar cheap. He's absolutely carving up this year. And obviously after this week, the Tigers have that really awesome coverage where they cover every other bye round. They don't have their third bye till round 26. So I think Galvin could end up being a season-long keeper, or at the very least till post-Origin, and then final upgrades. He's going to be one of the last ones traded. Jacob Kiraz was probably the star of our team this week, and for a lot of teams with a 134. 2 tries and a try assist to go with his usual tackle busting, ball running, offloading brilliance. Jermaine Osako with an 84, so I think that was mostly through attacking stats, which is okay, but hopefully there's a bit more base available. Ruben Garrick with 69 is a solid enough return, but on the bye this week. Blaze Talangi, 87, revelation at fullback, so hopefully we get the next 2 weeks out of him. I think they do cover round 16 as well, or round 17, something like that. Let's have a quick look. I don't remember. Scroll down. Any fear of scrolling? So they don't cover 16, but they cover 17, 19. So, I think even if we get these next 2 weeks and then Gutherson comes back, the hope is that they sort of plan for the next season and Gutho moves to the centres, but I don't think we can lock that in. So here's hoping. Iro with a 33, so obviously no attack for the Sharks. Didn't see the game, if I'm being honest. I was out having dinner with my mum and dad who are in town, so was enjoying that. Come back to this nightmare, but it all worked out. Armstrong off the bye. He's definitely got to play this week. If you've got him. If you don't, he's probably the number 1 trading target. What's his break even? Negative 53. Against the Dogs is not as crazy as it used to be for attacking stats, but the Knights at home are always an interesting prospect. Jacob Gagai, so I'm glad he's made us some money because the money's dried up already after 2 weeks. 100k, break even of 69. So I think he might be one we have to move on next week. There is that Broncos cheapie Karapani. Might be worth a look if you wanted to, avoid it. What an emergency nightmare. Scotty Drinkwater with 105. So in hindsight, should have took the VC. But it was one of those ones where it was tricky. It wasn't like a, lock in absolutely. Like I think I'd already had Hughes with the 31 and I was looking down the barrel of, well, I'll have to take that score. I would have ended up having to take Gagai's 10. But, I was assuming Hines would score more than 3 when I made that choice. So these things happen. And Trey Fuller should be back in this week with Hamaso in the Origin squad. So very much a incumbent type squad for the Maroons. Talangi, I would have probably had Cobbo on the wing instead. But I guess they like how solid Talangi is. So like I said, Fafita's a big name missing there. Other than that, not too many surprises. Jermaine Hopgood, I always had sort of in my squad. He got a call up on the bench, but the only debutant, so that's interesting. Pierre Kura, I think, might be lucky to get a spot on the extended squad, but that's maybe more a potential than actual requirement. You'd imagine Kafusi would definitely slot in on an edge if need be. Ezra Mam obviously covering any backline dramas. Or halves, I guess. They've got Cobbo would push up into the outside backs. Man would cover the spine type roles. So that's how the team lined up this week in terms of head to head. So we snuck a win against Lanes Trains, which sitting second in the first league there. So it's actually a pretty tough week. I had second, first, and first this week, and as you can see, there's a reason why the window shoppers in Phoenix sitting number one in our head to head leagues. So we'll have a look at each one. So Lanes Trains had Val Holmes with the 136, sort of matched up to my Jacob Kiraz. Ellie Katoa with the 79 is good. Had Luke Brooks as the emergency, so not sure what happened there. Dan Gagai as captain, so took the Drinkwater VC, which was smart. Joey Manu with the 97. So just looking at this, it's like maybe it's just like having to play Hughes, Terrell May, Kyle Ero, I guess was the difference. So yeah, I guess the two front rowers, and I've got Payne Haas. So that's a big difference maker there. I captained Hines, but Daniel also had Hines. So that's probably about all it was. It was pretty close. I thought I wasn't going to get there at one stage, so I'll take the 2 points and move on. In terms of other leagues, so a couple of 1300s, so Serena Sinners will be a bit stiff. Milkmang's back up on top with a 1344, but a 1397 for the Guns N' Roses, so Shoab's team. No Shoab's in the Sports Deck League as well, because I recognise the name and the symbol. Same one. It's all about branding. So I had Kiraz as the VC. That is a great call. I thought about it for a minute. Wasn't able to pull the trigger. So well done, Shoab. But has Curran, Drinkwater, Robson with a 65 is solid. And I guess getting the gig in the 9 jumper for New South Wales. So I guess Epi Coruscant is another big target for us going forward. Had Nico Hines on the bench. So who's your other halfback? Oh, Sam Walker. Okay, cool. But yeah, cop that. Cop the auto emergency from Lussick as well, 22. Reece Walsh with a 113. So I mean, Drinkwater and Walsh, great combo at the back. Don't know what you're going to do with Reece Walsh this week, given Origin. But I guess we'll see. Val Holmes, Sam Walker with the ton as well, so that always helps. Garrick, Talangi, Fafita, Osako, so, scored points. Had Galvin on the bench, which is a bit flat, and Liam Henry. Could have probably started over Sam Hughes, but how are we to know that he'd get a bit of meat? Back to the matchup. So as I said, a couple of tough ones in the others. We've got the window shoppers. Katrina sitting pretty on top with a 13-20. So having Sam Walker, Joey Manu, Ruben Cotter with the 65. So Dom Young was a bit flat with a 36. Damien Cook, interesting pod with the 96, but on the bye this week. VC Drinkwater. So again, obviously I pulled the wrong rein there. But I guess the noticeable one was no Nico Hines, so that obviously helped out Katrina quite a lot. Had the Sam Walker halfback option. Who's your other halfback? Sean Johnson. Fair enough. But yeah, just solid all round. Smithies as the auto emergency is a bit flat. Eero, Dom Young. But other than that, really good outputs. But the Klook Stars must be doing well overall. I'm going to check how Wayne's going because 1481, pretty sure he was high up overall before this too. But Val Holmes, Sam Walker, Joey Manu with the 97. So interesting to see what people do with Manu now that Tedesco's not playing Origin. So most people locked him in as a shoe-in for playing fullback this week. But I guess he's still a hold. He's one of the best centres in the world. Just would be even better if Teddy was playing Origin. But had Reece Walsh, Drinkwater. So I guess it's just like you look across the board. I think Kikau was the lowest with 47, which is pretty cool to have. And then 1, 2, mining's close enough. Let's say 3 tons, 4 tons, 5 tons. And, one of them is your captain. So essentially 6 tons gets you to 1481. So well done, Wayne. Like I said, we'll check out the overall in a minute. I think that was easily the highest score in this league, or indeed any of the leagues that I'm associated with. So well done. I say that I haven't had a close look at the third league. I just saw Tracy beat me by 100. So Reed Marnie 76, Steve Crichton with 67. Given how much he did on that edge, it's a bit disappointing, but it doesn't always translate to Supercoach scores. Val Holmes with a 136 is a nice get. Dylan Edwards is captain, turned up, so that's good. So you still had Hines, Liam Martin as well, went off injured, but still did me by 100. Reece Walsh, Tamari Martin, so yeah, you match it up to Dylan Brown, who I traded for. It's 50 extra points, a lot more cash. Yeah, so Tamari Martin's been a great hold. Well done, Tracy. Lockie Galvin playing as well, nice. But I had Galvin, so that's okay. Yeah, so not a nice one. Just a couple of the captaincy, I guess, again was the difference maker. 100 points difference. In terms of the rest of the league, so it looks like Tracy might have been the highest. 1339. Cast the Seagulls, 1278. Have a quick look. So Holmes Drinkwater. Jakey T, so he's playing Origin. But I guess was on the bye anyway. Could be a good hold. Angus Crichton as captain, not the worst shout. Sam Walker turning up. So some solid scores there, Peter. Nice one. So, as I said, we'll have a look at the league. I think it was second league total points. So, yeah, moved up to 45th overall. Well done, Wayne. Top 100. That is absolutely massive. So, the window shop is into the top 2K overall. Short dropout as well. So, had a good week. 1365. Probably didn't acknowledge them. Well done, Matthew. So, there I am, down in 7th overall in this league. Just inside the top 7K. Nice. But I guess in terms of trades this week, again, it is Origin week. So we can just swap everyone around. So Lussick would be playing. Sam Hughes can start and Liam Henry on the bench. Angus Crichton can swap with Kai Pearce-Paul. So we're doing all right so far. We've got 2 on the bench. Hines can swap with Dylan Brown. I don't think Burns playing, but we'll leave him in there just in case. Reuben Garrick can swap with Armstrong, and we can get Iro and Trey Fuller. So, I mean, I think, if Burns not playing, we've got 16, which is pretty good, We could push for a 17th. As I said, it'd probably be Angus Crichton that would make way. But I don't really know who I'd be interested in. A lot of people loading up on Roosters against the Cowboys this week, which is interesting. Marshall King obviously is a shout, but we would be replacing Lussick, so it's a like for like in that sense. But as I said, the other person that's now come into contention for that spot is Api Coruscant. So I didn't see anyone have him. How did he go on the weekend? Must be okay. He's only got a break even of 17. 66. So, I think that could be the play next week is to go with Coruscant because he'll cover 14, 16, 19, 20 and 15 and 18 as well. I think the Dolphins are on by around 18 and 14. So, probably actually advantageous to go with Coruscant if we can hang on to Lussick this week. I don't think it's worth trading to, say, Marshall King this week and then trading, 2 trades in the 2 weeks. We'll just cop whatever we get from Lussick and we'll go from there. But Grant Haas a keeper. Fafita's an absolute keeper now. Crichton we could trade, so it could be a 17th player. And obviously, we don't have a 5/8, but you just cop the auto emergency from whoever's there. So it is a viable strategy. You don't have to necessarily fill the 17. You just need to have 1 free slot, and then you get an auto emergency in there. But this is obviously assuming everyone backs up and plays. I can't foresee any other injuries. Kai Pearce-Paul might be on the bench, isn't ideal, but if he's playing, he's a chance of scoring points. But I guess in terms of, I've just lost my other screen here. Come back. I'll have to fix that up in a minute. I'll wrap this video up so I can sort it. But I guess just quickly, possible replacements for Crichton. So if we look at the available teams this week, so it'll be the Dogs, the Raiders, the Dolphins, not Manly, sorry, Newcastle, North Queensland, Para, Penrith Sharks, Dragons, Roosters, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think so. So Isaiah Yeo playing Origin, then I play in Origin, Hobgood Origin, Young Origin. So all the top 7 second rowers all playing Origin. So Jack de Belin is a viable option, plays 13-14. What's he do after that? Okay. Keep forgetting you got to go to season stats. It's a bit annoying, this new setup for that. Doesn't play 16 or 20, so not the worst shout, Guess, even in a well-beaten team, 66, he looked really dangerous through the middle for the Dragons against the Dogs. Adam Elliott's an interesting one. So the Knights have a slightly better coverage than the Dragons. The only one that he'd miss out on, I'm pretty sure, is round 16. So plays, 13, 14, and then 17, 19, 20. So slightly better than the Dragons in terms of coverage. So here's an option. Could go Dylan Lucas if we wanted to have a bit of centre wing cover as well. Butcher, don't know what's happened to him. Tom Eisenhuth had a shock in defence. I'd be surprised if he's named this week. Luke Garner's obviously an interesting one with Liam Martin. You could get on him. What's his break even like? Still 45's okay. 650's a bit, 630 rather is a bit expensive. You could have got him for 550 a few weeks ago. Sean Lane, don't think so. Pass. Someone like a Sam McIntyre, so he's slow burned his way to 160k, 62, so he'd have a decent break even, but only really good for 13, 14. Max Plath, obviously, if you're just looking to cover the 13, 16, 19, is a good option. And probably the way I would lean, just given that price point. Obviously, the Bellin's nice, but he's going to cost another 100k on top. So, it could be something like that. As you can see, a lot of cash to burn. But, I could even upgrade Gagai with that money next week. Obviously not this week because I've got my 17 now. So I don't need to stress. Just the one trade. Why has it got 2 trades there? That's weird. So something like that. But we'll talk about that in the round preview. We'll wrap the video up there. So as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the SuperCoach content. Subscribe for all the fantasy content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.